I may or may not have spilled a little bit of coffee this morning. That's what you get when you're a moron and trying to get a Greg's latte on your motorcycle. And luckily enough I didn't try to put any wheelies. Actually that is a good anti-wheelie device. Imagine doing a wheelie with this stuff and hot coffee straight in your face. Yeah. So yeah, this is how you modify the gas pedal. You see this part here? It's just straight. That's what it takes. And obviously removing this and a bit of that. So when you close it, it doesn't interfere with anything. That's it. That's all it is. Oh, and there's two kind of like centering points. One here, one here. You see how removed? That's all. This one you can remove them with a knife or anything else. That's it. And then adapter plate. But yeah, I'm gonna show you that in a second. So before you put the gas pedal on, it's good to put the cable in where it should be. Behind that, you can put it then inside that trim carpet, if you want to call it so. And I'm going to show you where does it go, because it is actually easier to put it there. Let me put the camera here, maybe you can see. Once you get it there, it's fine. Then you can put the zip ties and do the proper routing after. But the main thing is, get my head out of this. Switch around. The main thing is that you connect it before you put the pedal on. Reason for that is because it's quite tight in there, so it's much easier to do this now and later. And you simply bolt it to the original place where this was, when the original gas pedal was bolted. I don't know if you can see, maybe from there, why you put that plug before. Now there is one thing, hope you can see it from there. The little trick is that if this is still a little bit too high, because you know, if you want to brake and touch the throttle at the same time or whatever, you can fine tune it. You see where this is slightly higher on the brake pedal, you can adjust your brake pedal. These in MR2s you can really tune your pedals almost like a race pedal box. That's why most people, even racing, you see them don't use race pedal box, they use standard setup, because it's lightweight, it's efficient, it's good, and you can adjust it massively. Now, even so, this one here obviously you don't have the adjustment as you have on these pedals, but the bracket, the mount on the chassis on MR2 is not very solid, which is good because it's solid enough not to move. You see, push your pedal down, is not floppy or anything. But if you grab the bracket, which is from the top, and pull it in, it bends a little. And I actually, on all of them almost, do exactly the same. I put them on and pull it towards me. Now, when I put it towards me, I bring this in, but also that kind of goes down, but tiny bit on the angle, kind of like those down and inwards. And that put that gas pedal, I found it in a really, really nice position. Again, it's very personal, I may have smaller feet than you, or vice versa, blah blah. But again, what I'm saying is, like, can you really tune it? If something is not up to your perfect liking, try to chase the perfect setup, because it definitely is possible in these little cars. Even this, So yeah. Oh, this is another thing. You see this red box? This is your body module, and your ABS runs through that. So if you're gonna put the traction control, for example, we use traction control with the Ignitron ECU, all the wirings from the sensors, you pick them up from these plugs. When it comes to the cable routing, what I like to do is to get it from there, obviously, blah blah, alongside of the rest of the wires, because only makes sense. Go under the carpet, you can unplug it from this side, go under the carpet, and if you put it back down, you see you can have it inside there, and through this hole, get a hole so you can actually drill a hole that is actually to the other side, to here, and then the cable will go from here towards the rest of the wiring room. So yeah, that's what I like to do, but again, you do you can just put it on the top, just make sure you don't squeeze it or squash it under the plastics when you put them back on. If you don't put the plastics back on, no risk. Now to the more important part, because that one is it really is up to you, whatever you want to do. So when we come to the shifter, what I said, adjustability, you see everything makes a leverage, and you changing this the length of this cable. So forth and back on these MR2s, I actually like it. It's not too short, not too long, it's just good enough. That's what I found. But the throw left and the right is a little bit too quick. So this is your reverse, right? Then this is your first gear. Let me put it close down because it engages it. So this is your reverse, this is your first, this is your third, this is your fifth. As you can see, there's plenty of space to go to the right yet, and even from the reverse there's plenty of space to go to the left. So we could really have reverse there, actually even more than this, so be more precise. Some people like it very short on this way as well. I prefer to have it as far as to the left and to the right as possible, because then it's not difficult to select. For example, first and third is very close to it. I'd rather be first here and then second, well, not as much, but you know what I mean, it's just a bit spaced more to the left and the right. So the way this works is all making leverages. So left and right really pushes this down, which is the kind of like a L angled plate, whatever you want to call it, and it moves this. So if we want to have more movement on this compared to the movement it does actually on the cable, all we have to do is shorten this ratio here. So what I do, I just literally cut them there and weld them here, remove about 12 millimeters out of this, and that gives me about 20% more throw on here compared to the throw of the cable, and I found it pretty decent. That solution actually pretty good. So the way you do it, you remove that pin there, put it somewhere safe, there's a washer, again safe, remove the cable, that easy. And now to remove this, because you have to chop it off and weld it, don't do it in CG because there's plastics and everything's going to catch on fire. You have to remove this pin here, this first of all this kind of washer here, which yeah, I have to push this in a little. It's a bit fiddly because this is like kind of like a self-retaining washer. I don't know how you call them, these clips. Yeah, you have to play with it. A little bit of time left and the right till it comes out. Don't lose it. Again, don't break it because you need it. Once this is out, it will slide out. You may lose that spring. Well, don't lose it. I mean, lose it in terms of, you know, it will come off. Stay there. Yeah, careful on that one. Do not lose it. And what you have is this. Now, what I like to do is take it apart and remove that plastic bushes inside both ways, both sides, because when I'm going to be welding this, it's going to get hot. I don't want to burn them. I cut it roughly there and roughly there. Yeah, you play. I remove about 12 13 mil out of it, and that seems to be okay. Back together, wear it up, shorten it. Back together is just everything as it is, just in reverse noise. And then just make sure that this spring is fitted properly, because this is responsible for the shifter to go back in the middle. Anyways, cable back on in one-handed. There you go. Then we have the washer, and then we have the clip. You know, it's very easy, although yes, you do have to be, you know, cut stuff out. Oh, what is it? There you go. See, comes back in place. But now, I was gonna say is, yeah, you have to be, you know, cut stuff up and wire it back together and all that stuff. But to me, it's just adjustment. If you see it in different ways, don't do it. But this really makes the stuff better. So this is now reverse, first, second, third, and fifth. And as you see, I'm using the whole travel because this ball there is like a hinge. Reverse, first, third, and fifth. So we have a wider selection, is much more precise. Front and back, the throw is exactly the same. Now, it happens that an adjustment on the gearbox, headphones, the adjustment on the gearbox itself is exactly in the middle, right in the middle where it should be. I'm just gonna tie that adjustment around to make sure it's in place. And remember, the way I designed it, even if I'm gonna leave it loose, it will rattle a little, but it will never rattle itself out. It may turn left and right, but it's always going to be in the same position. That's the beauty of it. So even something you're going to forget the other one, yeah, it'll be fine. Well, I mean, it's not fine, but you know what I mean. Okay, now see if I'm going to see it. Yes, it did. A hole saw, and literally drew a hole through there. The X is on that side. But once you've done it, the edge of this is quite sharp, and you don't want to cut you thread pedal cables on it because, well, for obvious reasons. So what I do, I get a fuel line. This is slightly smaller. This is, I think, 4mm. We use this for the actually for the vacuum ones, and I slice it all alongside. You see, along, and just put it. Do you know what? Let me put it on, and I'm gonna show you. Just obviously all around, cut to the right length, and this one protecting the cables. On this side doesn't need to be, is on this side when I cut it. Just a small trick. I love sun here. If you have to adjust your linkage, your gearbox linkage, so your shifter, and it's not easy to get in because obviously the charge cord is in, or the piping is there, is quite cramped on the top there, then there is a way to do it from under the car, and it's fairly easy and quite a lot of access. Let me show you. If you go here, if you look just past the starter motor, you see those two balls there. I don't know if you can see it. Let me get the camera on it. Yeah, there you go. Those two. Yeah. I'm literally gonna grab my. All I have to do now is make sure they're tight. So I don't know if you can see from here anything, but there's plenty of space to get your hands in it. 10mm spanner, and now I'm tightening it up. So yeah. Plenty of space for me. There you go. Nice and tight. Okay. Blah blah blah. That's the access to your alternator. Make sure this pipe is actually, at the beginning I show you they were on the top, but make sure they here. I later on put them on the bottom of the breather tank pipe. You can even lower it if you want more space. Now I can show you my fingers and, you know, do this between alternator and this. Now on full acceleration the alternator goes up because the engine rotates backwards. When you decelerate and you have engine braking, it goes forwards, so there's a bit of movement. And again, that's why I like to get the front mount, those inserts that we have on the back, and the rear mount a proper, you know, polybush solid one. That's the best way we found it, but obviously this is not the job we're supposed to with this customer. I mean, the polybush I have here, this was my old insert. I put it in anyway because it's the bare minimum, but it will be good to actually swap it with the proper polybush one. Anyways, this is the access. You have the access to your oil filter, so you can change it from here. Access to everything, to your alternator, you can unplug it, you can remove the wires, you can change the belt and everything. People were asking, what if I want to put the oil cooler? Well, if you want to put the oil cooler, so you have to put a sandwich plate under the filter, and there's not much space here. You can see it. It's still about 1/2 inch space for the longer oil cooler, but sandwich plates, they're usually about at least 1.5 inches. So you will need a slightly shorter oil filter. They're quite universal, you know, you got plenty of them. People do it all the time, slightly shallower ones, and then put the sandwich plate there. And as you can see, there's plenty of space here to run oil lines, which I'm gonna do on mine because again, truck use. So actually, I'll tell you something, we're gonna bring my frog on today. It's a bonus video. All right, let's go ahead. When you put the quarter back on where the air filter is, to make space for obviously the pipe, induction, the old version, so the pre-facelift, we have to trim a little bit of that, the plastic there, very minimum. On this one, all you have to do is to remove that kind of mesh, which is yeah, just put it there. It's just pressed in, you just remove it, and actually looks not only clean but quite cool, to be fair. I like it. And that's it, the car is ready, it's done. That's all there is into it. I hope I explained everything in details as much as I could, or good enough. I don't think you should have any questions after this, because again, even the bonus stuff, even small tricks, should everything be here. You know, once you've done it, everything just works like factory. You know, you got your engine management light. This is supposed to come off, and it would come off if there was no codes. You have your engine oil pressure, you have your battery icon, which is the charging. They both come off because obviously we have the charge, we have the oil pressure, everything works. ABS works, there's no fault codes, temperature works, everything exactly like factory. Gears work, again, like factory, just way better, nothing else to it. Then obviously depending on what engine you're gonna put it in, depending what engine you're gonna put in or what spec, that's the power you're gonna have. Usually what I advise to people, there was a customer, a guy yesterday popped down to have a look on it, and he says, I want to build a truck car, and what do you think with the engine? And I advised exactly the same thing that I am doing. I'm not doing it for the same reasons, but just to prove the point, to show how to do it, how I think is the right way to do it. Do the normal conversion, standard engine as it is, standard clutch, standard everything. Put a diff if you want to in a gearbox. Fresh fluids, fresh spark plugs, fresh sensors, obviously as you would do with any other conversion. And if it's a truck car or race car or whatever, sort out the chassis, the handling. So coilovers if you want to, anti-roll bars, you know, the right wheels, the right tires, and start using the car. With the first, let me get inside the car and I want to be more comfortable. So with the first upgrade actually, because this engine comes 225 brake horsepower, right? So with 225 and more than plenty. you already have tons more than what it is. But the kit comes without ECU, and now ECU is a first upgrade, which brings the engine to everything standard to 260, 270 brakes, which is very safe because we have upgraded the exhaust, the intake, the charge cooler. Everything is way more efficient than the standard, so the engine is way more comfortable to sit at that kind of horsepower than in a standard car with the standard exhaust, standard filters and everything, and the standard cooler. So that's your first upgrade, already comes in the kit, and you have 270 brakes. I say use it, put it on the track, develop the chassis, learn the car, see how it is. Unless you already had the car sorted, the chassis, then it's a different story. But you know, most people, they just want to get these cars and build these track cars. So that's how I would do. In mid-time, and this is another great thing about this conversion, we always say these engines, these gearboxes are consumable. It's not because it's one-time use, not because they break, not because you throw them away. It's because if something happens, you can treat it as a consumable because they're so cheap. You can replace them with no drama. If you're building them free, if you're building a Porsche or whatever, yeah, great, you got a lot of money. It still costs you, you know, a lot of money and a lot of time to rebuild one of those engines. These not only are simpler, not only are very efficient, but also they're very cheap. So you can use it really like a consumable. If something happens, no drama. You get it, you know, in a week. You have a swap around and for pennies, and you're back in the game. That's the good thing about it. Coming back to us to how to build a tracker, or at least how I would do it, or advise to do it, is do it with the standard mode, standard engine, everything. And then in mid-time, obviously as you're testing everything and developing new chassis, get a feel out of it, etc, etc, get yourself another engine, because just the block, just the engine, you can pick them up for 100 to 100 quid. Pick one up and build that one. Building an engine is always going to cost you the same money regardless if it's on a spare engine, on your own engine. If you do it on your own engine, you're not using the car, you're not having fun, and you're not learning the car. You only have to add a couple hundred quid and you do it on a spare engine. So in mid-time you're having fun and you're building the engine on the side. No matter how long it's going to take, no matter what spec you want to do, build it all up. And all you have to do after is just swap them around. And now, this is the beauty. Pretty much 95% or 99% of the kit surrounding the engine remains the same, even if you have upgraded your engine to, let's say, 400 brakes, 500 brakes. The charge cooler stays the same. The intake, if you're using the standard plenum, stays the same. If you're using a different plenum that fits inside the body there, then again charge cooler stays the same. You may have to change the piping. The piping from the turbo to the charge cooler, if it's a bigger turbo, clearly on the you know, in a different position, then yeah, you probably have to change the piping. But you only change small parts of it. You don't have to rebuild the whole charge cooler system, which is, you know, money. It is the same, exactly the same applies for the exhaust. The exhaust is free flowing, 3-inch, 3/16 stainless. It's gonna be there forever. You can, all you have to do, because I made it modular, is that half of the system stays the same. All you have to do is modify the downpipe or redesign the downpipe or build a new downpipe for it. Not the whole new system, just the downpipe from the turbo to the silencer. That's why they all on V-bands. Since again, everything is modular in 3 bits. Now, and this is the best part of it, I think. The third update, I would say, if you want to upgrade the car, more power, say, okay, I want 350 brakes, I want 100 brakes more of what I have now. You know, you put the cams on it, nothing changes. Get yourself a hybrid turbo. Hybrid turbo gets you a solid 350 brakes, maybe even 380 with the cams with proper mods. So from 270 you can get to 370, let's say, let's call it this way roughly, with the hybrid turbo. The beauty of the hybrid turbo is that it's built on the same frame, so you're literally swapping around the turbos. That's it. Everything else bolts straight on as it is. Because this engine here, if I haven't told you, you wouldn't know that this is a hybrid turbo. It looks exactly the same. Well, it is a KO4 because the internals has been changed. So it's a bigger internally, but externally is all exactly the same. So the exhaust bolts back on, the intake bolts back on, the boost pipes bolts back on, all the piping, all the oil feeds and all the stuff just bolts back on. It literally is swapping around the turbos. Of course you're gonna need rods, because these engines, they will not survive with 350 brakes on the standard rods. That's the only weak part of it, but that's all. That's your third upgrade to the power. 350 brakes, and everything that you have in the kit fits exactly the same. No changes, no additional money spent. Obviously mapping, beginning injectors, but the usual stuff. But nothing from the kit changes. Everything is there. Not only is there, it's designed to take the power easily. There's no restrictions at that power levels with any of it, with the charge cooler, with the intake, or with the exhaust. So I think it's pretty good stuff. I mean, I don't know who listens to this, but if you don't know this, I've been working with race cars and fabricating stuff for long time. I've been through races, I've been through race cars, I've been through track cars, I've been through engine swaps, horrible jobs, good jobs, and I've accumulated enough, I would like to think I've accumulated enough knowledge to know how to build them so there is no issues after. Because anyone can, throw the money at the car, throw the money at the mechanic, at the builder, at the engineer, whoever, do the engine swap, do that, do this, and have it working even correctly like this. Great, off you go. It's afterwards. Building the car is only a small portion of the whole adventure. The rest of the adventure is living with the car afterwards. The beauty of this is that everything, regardless of the power outputs, even if you want 5, 6, 7, 800 brakes, 1000 brakes, it's easier to work on this car now with this engine than with the standard 1cc or 2cc, period. Not only is it easy, it's probably cheaper too, because parts afterwards of this is very cheap. Gearbox, you're not gonna destroy these gearboxes. If you want to upgrade it, no problems, tons of stuff on the market, and it's cheaper than for the standard gearboxes. Different gear ratios, you don't have to get a custom stuff, you can mix them between diesel and petrol ones. Great stuff. LSD, yeah, no problems. Guess what? The best differential is Torsen, because Torsen doesn't have any clutches, they don't wear out, they're just there and they just work mechanically. The more torque you apply, the more you lock up. The best feeling in the world, to my opinion, they're the best ones. And guess what? About 600 quid gets your Torsen diff into one of these gearboxes. That's cheap. Rebuild them, lots of people knows them. Custom gear ratios, no problems, a lot of companies do it. Dog boxes exist, no problems. If you want a sequential shifter, just the shifter for the H-pattern gearbox, you can get them. I can't remember what they cost, but they're not much money. But you can get yourself a shifter, which is just this part, and which I'm gonna do, which is probably gonna make another video about it, because obviously it's not in the same car, so we're gonna see how it's gonna work with the standard cables and everything. But we remain it, just untouch the gearbox, put the shifter on, and it's literally up and down. It simulates the fully sequential gearbox. If you want a fully sequential gearbox, again, no problems, a lot of companies do it, and they're less expensive than most of the sequential gearboxes, because there's loads of them, different ratios to use, hill climb, races, circuit racing, rally, anything is available. And because it's a lot of it, it's cheaper than usual. I mean, what else is there not to like? What's the downside? Truly, I really don't know. Even the noise these engines makes, they're good. I really don't know. They're strong, they're good, they are widely available worldwide. What is there not to like? And that's it. So, in other regards, someone was asking me about in UK how to register the car, how to change on the logbook, because you've changed the engine, all that stuff. Truly, I am not 100% sure. I'm actually not 100% sure you have to do it, because yes, you replace the engine. In UK, engine is just replacement part. They don't care about engine numbers and all that stuff. Although you have to provide them. If you have them, if not applicable, no problems. It's the same capacity engine, 1.8, same number of cylinders, and the same type of fuel. So what are you actually changing? You're adding power. Yeah, it's turbo engine now, you have more power. Like you would modify your standard ones easy. So that's more to do with the insurance, I guess, than actually registering a different engine, because it's actually not a different type of engine. It's same type of engine. So I don't know if they will even take a notice, because if you read on the logbook, that's what it says: 1.8 petrol 4-cylinder engine. So what would they change? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but again, different countries, different stories. You know, we sell probably 60% of our products to America, between America and Australia. Rest over to Europe. In UK, probably 20% of our stuff. So again, different countries, different problems. I know I think in Spain they have a lot of issues. They have to be registered and all the stuff, and different topic. Anyways, I think this was helpful. And again, I think after this you shouldn't have any questions. I've tried to answer everything, shown everything in details. No, like in previous videos, this is how I ended. If you don't have the money to buy my products, if you don't want to buy my products for any reason, this series shown exactly how the stuff is built, the places, the solutions. You can pretty much do it yourself. I would advise get the engine mounts at least, because they really keep the engine in that position, and the engine position is crucial. Making engine mounts, it wasn't just put the engine there and make it mount so it fits. No, you really have to do 10 steps ahead, and that job is done. And honestly, they are quite cheap for what they are. They're stainless, they're never gonna be destroyed, they're never gonna rust away, they're gonna live longer than your car, your son, your grandson, and everything. And they also, inside the engine mounts, where engine mounts actually include the shifter cables adapter. So you get engine mounts and you can shift. That's how you use your gearbox adapter. So that's quite a lot for not much money. I would say get those, and the rest, if you want to do it yourself, everything is shown. And don't get angry. People think about you giving this away. No, I don't. I truly don't. I like to see people succeed no matter what. If you want to build it yourself, or thinking even you can do it better, please do so. Actually, send me the pictures, contact us, show me how you do it. You know, I congratulate, and I have no problems whatsoever. So that's it. Period. I think that's all there is. I see the next one, I guess. This is the end of the series. There's nothing else to add. Been a long time. Alright, see you soon.